Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I had a supernatural encounter with God in my room, and it is now 82 days since I was saved. So, I am here on the second part about the truth about ayahuasca. And in the first part, I went over where I was prior to going to one of these ceremonies, what I was searching for and seeking, what I was going through emotionally, and I am already up to the part where I'm describing what happened in one of the first ceremonies. And like I said in the last one, I'm not going to go like through each of the 6 ceremonies, but I'm going to hit some really important parts of what I was experiencing to explain to you guys how demonic this is and how real this is. So I just said in the last video that in the first ceremony, I started seeing these shadow people walking around the ceremony space. It's like in this big thing, they call a maloka. There was like, I don't know, 30 to 40 people all around, and you have a single bed. You have a bucket in front of you in case you throw up, and there's people in the center that are helping you, the facilitators, but these were not facilitators that I saw. They were like colorless gray beings that were just kind of shuffling weirdly around the floor. It was really ugly. And these are things that I saw. At one point, I put my blanket over my head because I saw my neighbor do that, and because she was scared, so then I did that, and it was so awful. I literally started feeling things kicking my back, like literally physically, like kicking, like punching or kicking my back, and I was just had my blanket on my head, thinking like, oh my God, like it was so scary. And what people will tell you in this community is like, oh, that's just the negative energy coming out of you, and really it's the exact opposite. It's nothing. You're not being healed from anything. Nothing's coming out of you. These demons are coming to enter you and also surround you and torment you. That's how twisted this is. That the devil created something like this to bring you to think you're getting healing, then to not only mentally and emotionally torment you, but physically torment you, because I was being kicked in my back. This is real. The next thing is that I heard was growling in my ear. It sounded like a jaguar or something, like an animal, like ugly in my ear. But then people will say in this community, it's like, oh, it's the spirit of ayahuasca will come as an animal sometimes. She'll come as a woman. Maybe she comes as a tree. And so I thought, oh, it's like a spirit animal or something. And I thought this was like part of like the, I guess, allure of it. And remember, you guys, I was fully blown into this community. I need to take a break here to say this. I had 6 ceremonies, 2 retreats, 1 year, and then I think it was the year later was the next one. I had studied about this prior to going to drink ayahuasca. Was doing videos on YouTube. I had a YouTube channel talking about this with thousands of views. So the information that I shared about the ayahuasca in the last video is stuff that I remembered from the other videos, and I don't remember everything word for word. And some people may come on here and be like, well, actually it's this, but it's like, well, actually it's demonic. So let's not focus on the semantics. Let's focus on the fact that the devil is literally seeking to devour souls here at these retreats. So when you first also, a lot of things that you'll hear in the ayahuasca communities that you just need to surrender to the medicine, surrender to the spirit of ayahuasca, which when you think about surrendering is like when you're like literally surrendering yourself or giving something to somebody or someone. We should be surrendering to Jesus, surrendering our lives and everything to him so that he can come in and help us, not to a spirit which is demonic. And what are you surrendering? You're giving like your body because you're just completely open for all of these demons to come in and out. Like I said, some people say 4 to 6 hours. Mine were like 8 hours plus each one, so 6 to 8 plus. And it's, yeah, that's all about surrender to it. So it's like literally telling you, everybody's talking about that you just need to surrender to it, which is the worst thing you could ever do, to surrender to it, because you're just willingly say, okay, spirit, here's my body, do with it what you will. Here's my life, do with it what you will. And these demons will. That is giving legal permission. I've talked to you guys about this before. When you open doorways, you're giving legal permission for these demons to come in. They don't care how. They don't care what you say, as long as you are saying it and you're giving them permission. They're like, here I am. Here's the door, coming in, and that's it. Also, another important thing is when you drink ayahuasca, especially this retreat, the one that I went to, you have to join what is their church, called the Church of Ayahuasca or something like that. And what they say is you're joining this church, but you're not really joining it. You're just joining it to drink the ayahuasca, because otherwise, federal law classifies it as a class 1 drug or something like that. I'm not sure about the technical terms, but otherwise you can get in trouble. But because it's a church, you can legally drink this and not get in trouble. But you are signing an agreement saying that you're joining the Church of Ayahuasca, meaning you are a church member. You're signing, it's like making a covenant, which in the spiritual realms, you're making an agreement that this is what I'm following, this is what I'm obeying, and I'm going to get into scripture about that. And in the rest of the ceremonies, there was things like where, like they say, you may throw up, you could even accidentally go number 2 in your pants. Thank God that didn't happen to me. And it's just hours long. I was so dehydrated during these ceremonies that I had to get 2 IVs. You can barely eat. Like, I barely didn't eat anything the whole weekend, Friday through Sunday. You can barely drink water. You're just kind of out of your mind, really. But believing, oh, this is healing, and I've seen these things, and I'm getting these messages. And what was crazy was, during some of these ceremonies, I got these messages that I thought was like, oh my gosh, like thinking, I don't know if I said God told me this, but I'm thinking somehow, my God, the universe is telling me this is what I need to do with my life, because it was during my first ceremony where I got the message that I'm supposed to teach breath work in this lifetime. Something else that is demonic and opens demonic doorways. Who was telling me that? That wasn't God. God didn't say, oh, you need to do breath work to help people heal. It sounds so silly saying that. Why would God say that? Why would God say that? That would defeat the whole purpose of him sending his son, who is the only way. Breath work, and I'm going to get into that in more videos, because I used to have my own spiritual healing business. I was doing breath work. I was having paid clients for sound bath, Reiki, all kinds of things. So, but that's where I got that message. Here I am thinking the universe is telling me. It was the devil. It was the devil. Because he thought, if I can make her go this way, then she won't go to Christ, and she won't do all the things that God has called her to do. Back to how dehydrated I was, how just no food, barely any water, and I could have died. I literally could have died. And when I was talking about with a friend after recently, when I was talking about these videos that I was going to do, the Lord told him, yeah, she could have died. And here I was, not even being saved yet. Could have literally died during one of these ceremonies, and that's what the devil wanted. There was a few times where I did feel like I was dying, and I probably was close to it. But literally, by the grace of God, literally the grace of God, he didn't let me die. And he pulled me through those ceremonies. Because there was one time, one of the ceremonies, I think it was the second retreat, where I was like trying to throw up in the restroom. I couldn't throw up. I didn't have anything left inside of me. There was no liquid. There was nothing in my stomach. And I just kind of collapsed on the side of the restroom. Nobody knew I was in there. Anything could have happened. I'm going to get more into this in the next video.